Thanks for joining me, Bears fans. This is Bearlissimo. There was no defending the Bears' defence against Kansas City. We're going to look at about 16 plays or so, just to look at what we're talking about. So first of all, just to give the context, 2nd and 8, ball on the 27, first quarter. So let's see what we get here. Rolling forward into the tape. Going to get straight into it. If you do like this video, by the way, don't be afraid to hit like, subscribe if you haven't already. Share it. Please share it far and wide. Let other Bears fans know what they're missing. So in terms of what we're seeing on defence, obviously you've got two receivers split one side, tight end type split the other side, Travis Getsy and Pacheco in the backfield. What are the Bears doing? Okay, well there's Jaquan Brisker, there's Elijah Hicks. So it's two safeties. We got looks like nickel because we've got two linebackers. So motion. What is the motion telling us? Well, as you see, Tremaine Edmonds sort of partially goes. They don't really send it past the centre, which is what I would have liked to have seen that motion do if it was my offence. But it clearly shows that Edmonds looks like he's in man. So let's see what we get. It's not. So the ball's already out quick because we've got huge cushion. Mahomes obviously has confidence in his arm just to turn, pivot, throw. And it's actually decent by Jalen Johnson breaking on the ball. The receiver doesn't really tuck it away. The ball is up there for quite some times. And Jalen Johnson does a good job punching the ball out at the end. We'll see it from another angle now. Obviously from the backfield. Okay, let's look at the pressure we get up front. So Billings is doubled with the centre and guard. Obviously we've got 2 to the outside versus 2, so you'd want to see some pressure over here. If that's a double here, you'd look at single here as well. Yannick Ngakoue. So it's a straight ball rush to this side. Jones doesn't really beat his man here, despite being singled. He does try and sort of swap down the arm, but the guy just resets back into his chest. And it is a quick throw, to be fair. Yannick Ngakoue can't really get there from the backside. And it's a twist, it's an ET, end tackle twist. And again, if you're going wide like that, if you're not just jetting straight in, you're not really going to make that twist work. But at the end of the day, it's just a quick pass. What I do like about it here is, despite being off, you can see Johnson's already closed up to the ball. And you see him punch with that right hand. And you see the ball come out. There it is, out of bounds. So, looking at it from the other angle. Okay, it's a better one for the defensive backfield. So there you see the motion. Tremaine Edmonds looks like he's in man, which he's initially, but he sees the ball's out, then he turns and goes. Johnson is there. This is a better view of what Johnson does on the ball. And you can see him actually reaching for the ball already, so he's trying to punch it out. And then he pulls, he rips at the end, so he pops it down. Does a good job. So we had a decent job despite the off coverage in the first one. Bears started reasonably fast. Obviously we got 3rd and 3 now, as it shows on screen. So what are the Chiefs do a lot of pre-snap information for their quarterback Patrick Mahomes. He's a pretty good quarterback anyway. So I mean, giving him pre-snap information. Obviously that's Jerick McKinnon, running back. He's on the outside, and you see it's cornerback there, cornerback here. So that would suggest to you that it's zone. And it looks like zone, it looks like cover 2. And again, you know, look at 3 releases here, inside alignment on the outside. Stand up defensive end in the middle, defensive tackle. I mean, it just puts on hands on. There goes that twist. He's got to get much more north-south on this to get pressure. Ends up running into Yannick Ngakoue, who takes another inside move, having a chip release by McKinnon. In terms of coverage, you've got cover 6, what looks like. So cover 2 to this side, cover 4 to this side. And the routes, as you see, is just an in, and you get like a crossing route down here. And you've got to understand your threats. This is quite clearly man here. So Tremaine Edmonds has got nothing there. He's got nothing but Travis Getsy. And again, we've got 1, 2, 3 defenders, 2 threats, a safety here doing absolutely bugger all. That's where the nearest threat to him is, or here, middle of field open. So you maybe look inside first, then outside, as that's a way off. But again, there's no excuse for not seeing this. I mean, obviously, Tremaine Edmonds, it's behind his back, but he should know, because he can quite clearly see him here. He should know Travis Getsy is there. Maybe, just maybe, as this is your zone here, this is his zone here, and this is his zone here, maybe we should be taking a look. Now, obviously, Elijah Hicks actually has someone running across him, so we're going to sort of not count him out. But what the fuck this is, and this is, I don't know, because it looks like we're looking into the backfield and we're not looking at the threat in the zone. We run zones so poorly, just generally, and it doesn't get any easier than that. And, you know, fair play to the cornerback. I think is it Strowman, 27? Comes up and makes a decent tackle. Okay, in terms of pressure up front, Justin Jones, Yannick Ngakoue, Walker on the outside. He stumbles, gets a bull rush, and this is that twist that I talked about. So it's like a hesitation move. Jones got to come across, and what you want to see him do is take the inside shoulder and then ear hole the centre, and then you kind of want to see that behind it as the guard passes over. Tuney, very good guard to be fair, and then they end up voluntarily. Ngakoue takes an inside move, and they end up, you know, keystone copping it in the backfield. Not really a great deal of pressure, a little bit, but he's able to step up. You know, Justin Jones getting himself all out of position here. And then, because it just sits. I mean, look at this here. And we've got the other guy up here. I mean, how open do you want to be, Getsy? But to be fair, that's a great tackle in the open field. So looking at it from the backfield, again, this is where we're going to see the stunt. So you want to ear hole that, come up in there, but then ideally you don't want 2 people in the same gap trying to get pressure, because that just doesn't tend to work very well. You tend to do things like that, and that's way too wide here. He's got to be literally straight up there, and he's got to be prepared to bull rush that as well. Tuney's just way too experienced to just let that fly. And again, he's even passing off Ngakoue to the tackle. Walker, to be fair, with his effort on the bull rush, almost gets a piece of Mahomes, and then Tremaine Edmonds is deciding he's going to come up and Jesus Christ. There we go. So I've been saying it last year, and it appears I'm saying it this year. We tend to run zone. Bearing in mind cover 2 is zone based largely. We tend to run zone extremely poorly. So again, in terms of what information they're getting, they've got a stack over here. So like, you know, split stack there, detached. I think 84 is a tight end. I'm not 100% sure, to be honest. Another motion across. Motion across tells, what does motion across tell you? I mean, quite clearly, we get past the centre, no one's really moving. The safeties rotate, so that would suggest maybe cover 3 with one of these coming down into the short flat zone. So that's what it's telling me, is like, you know, we're looking at probably 4 under, 3 deep. So 4 there, 3 there is what I'd be expecting. Possible, again, outside alignment on the receiver suggests zone. Head up suggests possible man, 1 inside, 1 outside. So that could be matched to this side, match coverage to this side, and it looks like definitely zone to this side, probably cover 4, cover 6, something like that. But if it's rotating 1 high, it is like a funky cover 2. So that's the cover 2 here, and then it's just a bubble at the end of the day. So what you want to see is the cornerback attack the outside, and Jalen Johnson does a fantastic job there. You know, so again, in terms of pressure, what we get up front, Billings, to be fair to him, I thought was one of our best defensive tackles on the day, having gone through all of the All-22. What he can't do is here, he's just completely crashed down the line. I mean, obviously it's RPO kind of look. It never is. He's not even looking at it. You can just see it's a bubble, throws it straight away, and we're crashing down. I mean, what are we looking at, guys? What are we looking at? And 2 linebackers looking at the ball over here, but bailed out by Jalen Johnson. So great job by Jalen. He's had 2 good plays now. I love the leverage that Billings plays with. He gets his ass low and he keeps his pads square to line of scrimmage. It's really good stuff. That's really good stuff by Jalen Johnson on the outside as well, so fair play to him. So again, looking at the context before we're looking at the play. This is the information first quarter on the 40-yard line, 1st and 10. So again, rolling into it in terms of what defence do we have. Quite clearly we've got a defensive back 2. We're in nickel. 2 safeties, but again, Jalen Johnson back here, so we'll see what we get in terms of do they show any motion or do they do any shifting or anything like that. Clearly here, what it looks like is man, because you get linebacker over tight end. 1 in here, 1 there. That's obviously eligible. Tight end. So let's see what the Kansas City Chiefs go with. Again, kind of Rasheem Green just gets a complete free release, and it's always suspect when you get a free release and you get a lineman looking in here. So it suggests to me like maybe a boot action off the back. Pacheco does a good job coming up, actually stopping Rasheem Green sufficiently, but it is boot action. This is what I just don't understand about the Bears defense. So in terms of Bears defense, so what do we have? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 under, 3 deep. 1st and 10. 1st and 10 this is. There's the 10 yards. Well, let's do it with a straight line. There's the 10 yards. And again, you've got 3 deep. Count them. 3 deep. 3 under. So as a zone defender, you've got to know where your nearest threat is. Nearest threat, nearest threat, nearest threat, nearest threat, nearest threat. Nearest threats. And again, nearest threat. So you'd suggest you'd be looking that way, you'd be looking that way, you'd be looking that way. And that's what you'd expect in terms of the movement of the defensive backs. You've got a stop at the top. In fact, 2 different heights of stops. But Travis Kelce is the number 1 option in the pass game. And what the fuck this is, TJ Edwards, I don't know. Because who are you covering? Who is the eligible receiver? Who is the eligible receiver anywhere near there? And you know the last man out of your zone. So first, what we say is first man in, which is Kelce, and last man out, which is Kelce. So if he's last man out of your zone and there's nobody else coming, which you can quite clearly see, you're looking this way, no one's coming over this way, you've got to convert that to man. You've got to be on his hip pocket. It's just absolutely the same here, really, with here. And here as well. Because these two, the last threat to them is no one else is entering the zone. You've got to be on the pocket, and then it makes this job a lot easier. The one high being this deep on 1st and 10 at the 40, I've got absolutely no understanding. But there he is, past the sticks, free as a bird. Nobody within how many yards are within him by the time he catches the ball? Let's have a quick look. It's at least 8 to 9. It was about probably 8 yards, 7-8 yards is the nearest defender. And 1st and 10, it's a 26, 27 yard gain. Pressure up front. Do we get anything? Defensive end, defensive tackle, defensive tackle, defensive end. So we get chip release by this tight end. Free release. And again, when you see a tackle stay there, Rasheem Green, speaking to you, Rasheem. When you get tackle staying there, it normally means there's some sort of boot. You can quite clearly see the halfback there, but we're staring at the QB and we're running. I don't know. We're running shortest distance to where we think he's going to be, which is there, instead of to where he's going, which is here. Straight through the running back. Which, to be fair, he does win that, but Jesus Christ, Brisker and Edwards. It's only Travis Kelce at the end of the day. I don't know what I'm expecting here, really. I mean, again, keep your eyes on Brisker, keep your eyes on Edwards. Who's the first man into the zone? Well, I've already told you it's this. Who's the last man out of his zone? It's also this. Let's see what Briscoe's covering in terms of, and Edmonds. He's got this. I mean, it's no excuse. Your eyes are on Kelsey. And there's nobody else at all. There is no other receiver at all. No point you staying there. And by the time we turn and break, there we go. Ball in the hands. That's how far away we are against their number one option in the pass game. Same drive. We've had two half decent plays by Jalen Johnson, and the rest of the defense has been pretty shocking, to be fair. Again, context. Let's look at it. 1st and 10, ball on the 41, first quarter. Yeah, it's all there in front of you. You can read it yourself. In terms of what we're in, nickel yet again, and we've got Kelsey in the backfield, Pacheco. 3 wide receivers. In fact, 83. I'm pretty sure is tight end. And again, in terms of coverage, that's Jalen Johnson, so that would suggest again alignment. In terms of alignment down the field, that's kind of the mark he's running on. You can see the defensive back is outside. Leverage in terms of this, that's a bit more head up. So again, this is all the stuff that Patrick Mahomes is looking at. He's looking at quite clearly. They're sort of showing one high stroke cover 3 because we're that far off again. I mean, against the passing team, I think the best place to start from is about 8 yards off the line of scrimmage in terms of giving them a free release. That's sarcasm, by the way. So we'll see what we get into. So it's Matt Nagy. I mean, there's nothing like that says Matt Nagy more than that. There's nothing that says Matt Nagy quite like that. I mean, the opportunity with 1, 2, 3. It is just fantastic, and then we're bending outside. I don't know. At the end of the day, what I'm interested in is we're quite clearly cover 3 with what should be 4 under. But again, look how close they are. I mean, we should be here, 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 and here. That's where we should be in the zone. And again, looking at your threats, first man in, last man out. There's no other. Well, that's to be fair to the under. You got 1 under, you got 1 under. So they do have someone, but you don't. You don't. You certainly don't have anything to cover here. Why are we this far off? I've got no idea. In terms of threats, so cover 3. So we've got 3, only 2 deep, 2 under again. Let's see where the ball goes. Cover 3, middle of the field should be closed. The middle of the cover 3 needs to be about 5 or 6 yards deep of where the deepest threat is. Now, quite clearly, that's converting to, he's following him closely. Stevenson's following him closely there. 1 high. But, again, last man out of your zone. So, is he approaching your zone? He is now. Okay, you see him bending in. That's it. You've got no one else to cover. And again, here, who else is going to be coming out? Well, there, we've got an excuse. We do actually have someone there. There, we've got an excuse. There, we've got an excuse. So, I can understand that. This, I mean, what are you covering? This kind of loop motion here? That I'm okay with, and that's going to come sort of deep. That's going to come under. You've got to convert to man. And it seems like the Bears just say, right, cover your zone, just stay there. Just stay in that zone. Doesn't matter whether there's anybody near you. Just stay in your zones underneath. And, stay in your zones, cover 3. It doesn't matter where the offensive players are. I'm getting really, really annoyed. As you can probably tell, you can probably hear it in my voice. I'm getting really, really pissed off because you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 against 2, and we lose. So, again, nothing says Nagy quite like that. But at the end of the day, this route's going like that. This one's going like that. 1 high safety is, I say his high, is almost in outer space. He's that deep. And I can kind of understand because that's going to be deepest man. But, Edmonds there, I mean, in a cover 3. This has got to be what they're told. It's the only thing I can sort of suggest, because apart from being completely blind and dense, I can't see why you wouldn't realise that's the last man out of your zone. And unless you have last man out rules that says you follow the last man out of your zone, or if you're one of the under defenders, you convert to a blitz or follow in man. But that's just way too easy. Looking at it from defensive backfield, again the 4 under, we just drop into zones. There, look at that. This is 2 receivers against 7 defenders, and that's how close we are in zone. Read it for yourselves. That's the situation. Rolling into the play. You can see it's second quarter already. Yeah, joy of all joys. The game is getting closer to completion. This is a bit of a concern for me. I mean, obviously you've got 3 receivers. I say 3 receivers. You got a tight end and 2 receivers to that side. You got a half back in, Kelsey to that side. I think it's Kelsey. Jalen Johnson, who is a cornerback. Elijah Hicks. Safety Jaquan Brisker. 3 receivers down to this side. Jalen Johnson back here is a cornerback. That's the other rookie that we got at corner. So as soon as they cross here, so it's Kelsey. Sorry, Kelsey's here. As soon as they cross here, we know that's match because he stays in outside alignment. So in terms of coverage, so you've got an east-west flood. I actually quite like this concept here, because you've got putting him in an over-under bind in zone, and again here you've got Brisker. You've got 2, so it's an east-west. It's an east-west stress, and it's a north-south stress here with the three routes. But what you wouldn't then expect to see is this convert to a blitz. This convert. It's just we're trying to outguess ourselves. Why we would think the deepest man would be best covered, and we're looking in the backfield, for Christ's sake. I mean, what are we doing? What are we doing? What are we doing? Because we're not covering the flat. What coverage is this? Answers on the postcard. Put your comments in the comments. What coverage is this? Because Kelsey just knows, I've just got to turn and sit because there's no one there. The guy's on the sideline. And Mahomes got all day to look at it, Again, we're running up blind alleys up the middle of the field. I'm not putting that on the rookie. Okay, in terms of pressure, what have we got? Okay, defensive tackle in a 5 tech, 1 tech, 5 tech. I mean, obviously they're trying to bluff pressure here, is what I can assume. But I mean, nothing says. What's the most efficient way to bring pressure? We'll bring it from 18 yards away instead of maybe sending one of these 2 guys and having an overload. Looking at protection, you'd suggest that they've got that side, 4 over that side, 3 over this side, versus 3 potentially. So you'd think maybe, Sen knows you've got a chance with these 2 on this side. 5 and 5 at the end of the day. If they've got a 6 in the backfield with the half-back check-in, out to in, there's Jaquan Brisker coming and doing, just putting hands on pads, I guess. Again, in terms of catch point, nearest defender, 7-8 yards away again. I've got no idea what coverage this is actually supposed to be, but clearly Eberflus going for exotic pressures from the safety position that's lined up as a cornerback when you've got a cornerback deep who rolls down and then covers short, and you've got a linebacker covering deep. Just awesome. Whoops, wrong drawing tool. We'll get back to the right one. Deliberate mistake, obviously. There we go. Again, in terms of motion, you see nobody moving, nobody chasing across. That tells you it's zone. In terms of what kind of zone, well, we're at least close to line scrimmage there. Defensive back here as well. So defensive back here, defensive back here. Two linebackers, Jaquan Briscoe over here. And again, with him rolling this far over the two, that now suggests half field man. And you obviously got two eligible here, two eligible here. You're kind of showing, you know, I'm going to get a matchup here potentially. Let's see where they're going. One high, clearly. So when that motion goes back, it goes into cover two. And that's the way that you, again, what you're keying off here, I don't know. They see zone and they just crash down on it, everyone, and we don't even take a look. The lack of awareness here by Edwards, and Stevenson needs to be calling, crack, crack, crack. And then we've got a tight end out in front, and then, I mean, there's Briscoe. Starting positions, Jesus Christ. Okay, in terms of defending the run. Okay, so you see, as soon as a guard Tooney goes past you like that, you need to be turning back. And when the tackle pushes you down, I mean, what the we're looking at here? What are you looking at? What are you looking at? What are these guys doing? The old veer. Tight end out in front. I mean, how easy is that to see a wide receiver on linebacker? It's that easy. Do we get off the block? No, we don't. And then, a bit of keystone going on here. Briscoe. Where's he going? Where is he going? At least Elijah Hicks knows how to tackle. Love how Tooney just knows, well, I don't need to worry about him, I'll just turn here. Look at that. And then this particularly. Where are we going? Where are we going? Good tackle by Elijah Hicks from the backside safety. 3rd and 7 from 25. I think it's a 25 going in, which it is. Okay, in terms of information we're getting, tight head on the outside corner back over the top of him, so by alignment it shows you it's some sort of zone. Looks like cover 2. We're showing like a stand-up defensive lineman again here. This time we've got Edwards out here. Why is that wide? I mean, I think, and again, it just floods. So it's just, that's basically what it is to this side. And that middle of the field, it's zone. So I mean, it's like it's 1, 2, 3, 4 under, 2 threats, 1 short. Safeties, who are your threats? Well, yours is over there. Yours are down here. I mean, that's your threats. 1 there, 1 there. Obviously, we're close there. It's just absolutely piss poor. And he ends up taking a check down. And it's that easy. So we just take the halfback out of the backfield, chip release. Defensive end rolling on the floor. Throw it out there. How easy do you like it? That easy, thanks. On the 25-yard line going in where the field's compressed. Yet more inspirational defense coming up. 1st and 10 on the 16. Again, in terms of information, they just swap sides here. And we're looking at, obviously, Valdez Scantling, I think it's down at the bottom end. So it's 2 sits, a corner. flat middle of the field. That's literally it. So sitting there, inside to out to there, middle of field threat, hook. And 4 is about as open as you could possibly wish to be. I mean, again, in terms of zone, that was first man in for here. That's second man in, that's last man out of your zone. Last man out of your zone. That's first man in. Again, your zone is here, so your threat would be here, your threat would be here. So again, we're not really that worried about that side of it. Converted to man there with 2 safeties over the top, and just, oh, is it Tampa 2? Is that what we're running, Tampa 2? And again, why are we not? Why are you staying wide? Why are you staying wide? That's, you want to literally be on his hip pocket. There's no one else. Nobody else can threaten here. That's your man. That's your man. That's your man. It's just, I don't understand the zone rules. There don't appear to be any, because it's just so incredibly easy to pass against this defence in zone. So much better in man as well. I mean, look at that. you want a lane to throw to? Let's see what pressure we get. Billings and Yannick Ngakoue running up the same lane. And again, what is? Are we running a twist here? Is that supposed to be a twist? It is. That's supposed to be a twist. Look how wide it is. Robinson's just, he had an absolute mare. Every other defensive tackle apart from Pickens and Billings had an absolute mare. Yannick Ngakoue didn't have a very good game either. But I mean, what are we doing, guys? What are we doing? I can understand he's converted to man and like that sort of Tampa 2 look, but Jesus Christ, what are we doing? Not apparent. Thankfully, we're through with most of the really bad stuff. Starting in their own 20. Again, when you see them just sort of take a sideways step and not try and get any pressure on anyone, you know it's pass. So again, in terms of coverage, what have we got? It looks like this sort of exotic cover 2 thing again. Which, again, you know, free release yet again. Free release, chip release. Elijah Hicks played well. I'm going to give him a pass. Jalen Johnson had some good moments. So it's just basically because we don't get off the line of scrimmage up here. You know, these 3 on the deck, facing the wrong way, one man playing a bull rush. They got all the time in the world. Yannick Ngakoue can't get off Travis Kelce. And again, you know, I'm not going to blame him because of the distance. What is the safety doing? One is middle of the field safety. So where's your threat coming from? Okay, so where's my threat coming from? Well, it's not going to be that side. Okay, we've got one coming across here. Okay, why are we retreating still? That's presumably the way we need to go, because that's what they're doing, is like levels. So he just converts it upfield, and honestly, I wish I had like a highlight cone. I mean, just it's a fantastic effort by the rookie. Following him across, he really wasn't hiding to nothing on this. Let's go from the backfield. Okay, let's see what pressure we get up front. Not a great deal of anything. Billings at least tries to fight back to the other side and he sees Mahomes step up all the time in the world. Step up, run around, toss it to the wide open guy. Well, I say wide open, he's obviously running deep, but that's the one high safety with no threat in the middle of the field. He should be over the top of this. He's the one high safety, for crying out loud. He should be over the top of that. Briscoe had an absolute nightmare. Looking at it from the other angle. There he is. Let's clear it off. That's the man. I mean, he sees him. I mean, you see him. You see his helmet. It's looking this way. He can see. He can see this dude. I'm pretty sure he can see the receiver, and he can see that we're trailing in man there, and we can see there's nothing else that can threaten us. But what are we doing? Honestly, I'd be having fits if I was a high school coach and I saw this. Down and distance time. Get it? Good. Okay, got Jack Sanborn sighting. Maybe all is not lost. Elijah Hicks, Jaquan Brisker, cornerback, outside alignment, suggest zone. But we've got 3 linebackers under, and we're running. So it's a pitch. So biting. Everyone's biting there, apart from Jack Sanborn. Brisker's biting. Apart from Jack Sanborn, who is sort of staying, hezing. So it's the old toss back. So it's the pitch, toss back. There's Mahomes. And again, you know, what are we doing? What are we doing? Honestly, fucking hell. Nice tackle, Jalen Johnson, but before that, dude, who are you covering? Who's the threat to your zone? What are we doing? What are we doing? Bears fans, if you're feeling my frustration, by all means put your comment and a timestamp in. I mean, in terms of pressure up front, you know, not great, but it's just the throwback. There it is, not easy. Take my time, gather it. Nice easy little whip. Good tackle, Jalen Johnson at the end of the day. Try and pull out diamond out of a pile of poop. There's down distance and situation. Ball on the 4. Okay. So in terms of alignment, inside alignment, outside alignment, so you'd suggest maybe safety over the top. You'd suggest maybe over the top here, but obviously you've got 2 under here. I know Nagy loves running picks. He loves running picks, you know, whatever it is. Let's see what we get. But he loves pick routes and like tight end tosses is what he loves in this situation. So no tight end to toss the ball to. Says, I mean, that quite clearly is an attempted pick on. And to be fair, this is actually, we're in man, so you can quite clearly see we're man across the board. Man. Tremaine Edmonds has got to get underneath this pick because Pacheco is his man. So just let's look. What we'll do is we'll highlight him. So he is on him. Okay. 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 So in man coverage, and they're running a rub like a pick. This is a deliberate attempt at a pick, running there, level there, and then east-west flood kind of concept here, with Pacheco with a straight run to the outside, knowing it's against man. They're trying to get a rub, but I mean, look at that by Tremaine Edmonds. I mean, you might give him some flack. He got underneath that. Look at his effort to run and chase. Yeah, Pacheco drops the ball, but he's right there. So man coverage. Let's have a look, see how we're doing man coverage. We'll look at it from the other angle. We're not going to really see anything but pass rush here, which isn't really much of anything. But we'll look at it from the other angle, from defensive backfield, because this is where you kind of see this attempted rub here with these crosses. And you see him keying on his man straight away, so that's really good. And it quite clearly is an attempted rub here. And look at everyone in man. I mean, is this coverage not better than what we did in zone? I mean, you tell me. Is this coverage not better than what we did in zone? Is this coverage not better than what we did in zone? And it's against, yeah, it's a man and stroke zone beater, because you got that rub and you got floods and levels all in one place. Something I'd love to see the Bears do, but we don't seem to have any of it in the play. But that's really well defended. So credit where it's due. That was a good play. We tried to find a diamond in a pile of poop before. I think we just found one. I'm sure if you've made it to this point of the video, I mean, this is second quarter and it's 1st and 10 on the 50. With 27 seconds left. We won't give a touchdown up there, will we? There's no way we're going to give up a touchdown. Anyway, if you're still with me, thank you so much, Bears fans. I mean, you're absolute gluttons for punishment. Looks like cover 4, quite clearly, by alignment and everything else. Looks like cover 4. I mean, but that suggests like a man under. And again, it kind of is cover 4. I like that we're sort of converting to man there. Again, you've got to know where your threats are. So last man leaving your zone is here. We've got this tied up, but 3, so basically got, you know, that kind of thing going on. Just again, if he's in man and we've got him in man, who has Brisker got? Are we putting this on the rookie, that he's got to trail in man and then bend back outside as this guy crosses over from the far side of the field? And, you know, yeah, one high, that's the deepest man so far, but what is Brisker doing? What coverage? I mean, 2 over 1, that can't be right. So one of these two is wrong. And it look, you know, he's in man from the get-go. And he's in zone initially, and then he just decides, I'm going to go over with number 8. I want to completely leave this dude all on his own. And we almost get to him. Zach Pickens almost gets to him, Mahomes. I mean, you know, in terms of pressure. Straight ball rush one-on-one with the guard, walks him 7 yards into the backfield. Great job by Zach Pickens. But that's when you're thinking, oh God, please don't drop the ball, please don't drop the ball, please don't drop the ball. I mean, that's Matt Eberflus is a defensive head coach. This is his bag, man. And that's just disrespectful. 27 seconds left and we give up a touchdown on 1st and 10 from the 50. Yeah, highlights where it's due. Zach Pickens, just let's look at Zach. Let's focus on Zach. Because, you know, I think he got 13 snaps, something like that. Absolutely dog walking him into the backfield. Jaquan Brisker, man. There he is. I mean, you can see he's dropping back like that into a zone. 8 runs across his face, you know, dog chase car. Completely leave the other guy wide on his own. That easy. 3 more plays. We started with a positive. We've had a massive shit sandwich in the middle, and let's hope we finish with some positives at the end. We still have Mahomes on the field though. Obviously trips down here. In terms of alignment, we've got 2 corners. Well, three really defensive backs over here. So I think that's actually 3 corners. So again, it's this sort of man beater type look here. And this time, because we are in man underneath, and we do this match actually really well here. They run the match really, really well. And we've got 2-on-1 here. 3rd coming out the backfield, manned up here. Pretty good coverage to that point. But again, the one high safety, you've got to be closer. You've got to be closer than that. You can't be 15, 20 yards off the only threat that's downfield. I mean, this defensive back slipping, you know, shit happens, but you got no excuse looking over the top of the ball. And this is Hicks's, I think it's Hicks. No, it's not Hicks. 26. One of the reserves. Who is it? Johnson. Jalen Johnson. Which he's normally a corner, so you know he's playing safety. Do we give him a pass? You know, let me know in the comments. Do we give him a pass? He's normally a corner. He's not normally playing safety. He's one high though, and that clearly is the one deep route. Blackwell falls over, and again, yeah, that's good coverage. This, not so much. And again, the rookie coming up and making another tackle, not his man. But they sort this crossing up here really well to start off with. Obviously corner falls over, but the one high safety, you can't be that far off. Last two plays from me. If you liked it so far, like the video, share it, subscribe if you haven't already. If I've earned it, let me know. If not, let me know what you don't like, what you think needs to be changed. And again, in terms of what coverage we're in, it looks like man one high, because we're going to get that rub over the top. Sanborn should be having the underman, or we're going to get one of these here, because that looks like, again, we are manning up under. So man there, man there. I mean, that's man one high. Look at the difference in coverage. I think this is Sanborn's interception, and to be fair, Yannick, his jump cut move worked, gets an assist on this. Jack in the right spot, in the box. Jack in the box, in the right spot. I don't know, poor puns, who cares? Yeah, so there we go. There's that old jump hezzy cut. Gets in, hits Cabot as he's releasing the ball. Releases. I mean, at the end of the day, he just does not see Jack Sanborn. Picks it off, but that's really good man coverage. I mean, would you not agree? Is man coverage not looking better than what you've seen in zone so far? Let me know in the comments. By all means, send a postcard to Hallis Hall and let them know what you think about the man coverage versus zone coverage, because for some reason Floos is still calling a shit ton of zone and we don't run it very well at all. I realise you've got to keep some zone and some man, but I mean, you can change up your 1, 2, 3 and 4 deep with your man concepts underneath. There's nothing stopping you from doing that. Good stuff, Jack Sanborn. Get as many yards as you can. Look at us, Bears fans. Who'd have thought we'd have made it to the end of the video? And here we are, last play of the video. And again, looks like one high. In terms of alignment, this looks more like zone to me, because it looks like initially we're showing cover 3. It looks like it's now cover 2. And man, it's a run play. So let's see what we get in terms of filling up front. This is Sewell, I think. Sewell and Sanborn, who Edwards has not played very well. Edmonds has, but I think we need to look at, maybe Jack or Sewell getting some time over Edwards, because he's just not been given up. What I love is, this is the way you play the run as a linebacker. You come up into the hole, you fill, extend, separate with one arm. Both the linebackers have done that on their blocks. Really good stuff. And you leave yourself free to make a tackle, which Sewell does, gets his tackle. Good job. And again, what we're interested in here really is primarily these two, because they're the ones that play this probably better than anybody else does, to be fair. So we're looking B to C gap. So you've got to play your blocker. Tooney goes to Sewell, which means that because Sewell's come up, Jack is wrapping, which is what he should do. You should cover each other like that. So he wraps to C, gets outside the, and again, look at, he's playing Tooney at the end of the day. So it's a good card. Separates, gets his arm off, beats him with speed, and again Sanborn does the same, makes him cut back, plants his foot, makes him cut back. Sewell there to make a good tackle. Looking from the defensive backfield again. Look at the way you come up, play the gap, and wrap. Let it go. And again, not over committing to the contact, but being firm with it and extending up. Let's see him get underneath, force him up, stop him dead, separate one long arm, get your other arm free. And again, Sanborn taking on the block, just get to the outside, force him back in, which he does. Stop, plant your feet. Seal coming from the cavalry, send him back inside, comes inside. Seal with a nice solid contact there with the tackle. And that's it, that's the end of the video. So if you liked it, do all the good stuff. Let's hope we see something different on defence, because the rankings that we've seen from them under Floos and etc., it's just not good enough. Whatever you want to say about the offence, defence has been absolutely abysmal in pass blocking, in pass coverage, in zone specifically. Better in man, in my opinion. You tell me your opinion in the comments. Till next time, this is Bearlissimo saying bear down, take care of each other, be kind to someone for no reason other than the fact it's a good thing to do.
Anyway, ciao.